Guys, it's time for Inhuman issue 9. It's been 2 weeks that issue 8 came, but after this one, issue 9 is really great. What should I say? As always, Inhuman is really pretty much successful for me and for me reading this one, and this is a really successful story, and the series for Marvel Inhuman is really great. While kind of a movie kind of feeling is there, the latest issue of Inhuman has the unfortunate condition of tying into a company-wide crossover. It seems as though every time recently that a crossover is forced on a series, that the series ends up being muddled by the experience, and that is the case again here. In this issue, Medusa has returned from the events in Axis, and she is changed by the Axis influence of having more of an age to her character. While this is evident throughout, it equally doesn't affect the issue as much because the focus is elsewhere. Instead, it focuses on the reader and his ward Ziaoui, who is escorting to the Ennilux as he ventures across the wastelands of Asia with her. He finds that they are being pursued everywhere and does what he can to protect her. In terms of company-wide crossover, this is perhaps a better approach than what is usually done. Instead of being thrown in neck deep into an out-of-place and unwanted storyline, the damage is minimized as much as possible here. The two appearances of Axis Medusa before the end are more like interludes, and especially the first one is played for comedic value instead of focusing too much on the influence of this new Medusa. This is to the benefit of the series, and this issue, as so far the character has been a standout for the series in her present incarnation, and changing the formula in unnecessarily could run the series somewhat off the tracks. It feels really scary sometimes that it won't be a good hit, but for me it's a really smooth and great compromising, not that much of compromising, but twisting storyline for as a Inhuman. Soule's build up to the final moment in this issue, the final emphatic page of this issue, is something that has been covered before, albeit in Medusa's ultimatums to the Avengers, specifically Captain America, who was the go-to between the Inhumans and the Avengers world after the events of Infinity. It is basically the same arguments trotted up now as they were before, and while I didn't like that approach, I like that the writer emphasized that this is pretty much the final straw for Medusa. She is rebuilding here people and is faced from danger on all sounds, whether it be the other governments of the world or supervillains who have their own idea on what to do about her and her people, and she is not amused by the constant criticisms and looking down that she has to suffer. Over the course of the series, there's been a great gradual growth in Medusa as the character, and this issue seems to take all of that and then invert it towards a darker Medusa who is willing to go through with some rather extreme measures to safeguard her people. The other Inhuman characters, such as her loyal advisor Gorgon or the New Humans, don't make much of an appearance in this issue, so the focus is almost always on Medusa, who is clearly going to continue to be the driving force of the series, and that's fine with me for now, since I'm interested in seeing where she goes from here. So overall, it's get a 8 review out of 10. The story involving reader and the Newman Ziaoui continued in this issue towards a rather dark climax as the blind Inhuman finally brought her to Ennilux, a safe haven for rogue Inhumans and new humans. Like, this is one part of the tale that still confuses me, since I can't see exactly what Soule is building to, but I like that there's a separate story going on that doesn't depend on the main cast at all, though they may all eventually intersect at the same point. And I also love that Reader became more of a hero in this issue than he had been ever before, and that the camaraderie that had been developing between him and Ziaoui was always allowed to properly crystallize. So, but something tells me that this Marvel is doing everything is tying with Axis series, Axis tie-ins, but I don't like it. I think sometimes it shouldn't be. They shouldn't need this one, the Medusa and these characters for this Axis venture axis series tie-ins, because it's totally different kind of story, and I would be happy if they didn't do it, but they already did, and it's really pretty much not that much of disappointing. But you guys will enjoy this one in Human issue 9 that I just reviewed. Hope you guys will enjoy, and best of luck for this weekend. Hope you guys will enjoy this weekend too with these reviews. It will make you more colorful, and if you like it, just go to the store, buy these comic books, and really support the developers, and you'll be have fun.